Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Explanation. So in today's video, I'll be covering next topic of distributed system, which is models of distributed system. Okay, so while talking about the models of distributed system, we can also say that these are the architectures of distributed system. So mainly there are two models of distributed system, that is sorry, client server model and peer to peer model. Okay, so I hope you have already studied this in computer network part. Still, I'll be covering the full video of these two models. First model is client server model. Okay, so it is the mostly used type of model for distributed system, and in client server model there are two parts or two main components, we can say. One is called client and other is called server. So this server is a powerful machine, we can say, or it is a centralized component. So this server is going to handle all requests. Okay, it is going to handle all the requests from client. It is going to manage all data. It is going to do all computational work. Okay, so this is basically a server, the most powerful machine. And client, they can be individual user application, we can say. Okay, so this type of client, they generally have a UI. They coordinate with the help of a UI. Okay, and they are going to basically do the request for any type of data or for any kind of service. They are going to do the request to the server, and for this request the server is going to provide the response. Okay, so these two words you should remember: request and response. Client is going to do the request and server is going to provide the response. Okay, so let me let me draw the architecture for this client server. So basically there will be a server, okay, there will be a server and there will be more than one client. Okay, so these are the client and they will be connected to the server. So these clients, they are going to send request to the server, and in return the server is going to provide the response. So all the all the data management, all the processing work is done by the server itself. Okay, so for the working of the client server model, we have got three steps. First of all, first step is the client will send a request to server. Second step is the server will process the request. It will see whether the request is okay or not. Okay, whether the request involves to interact with the database, whether the data is there or not. And finally the server will third step is the server will finally send the response back to client. Okay, so let me talk about a practical example of how this works. So for example, if you are a user and in your system you have got the Facebook. So basically you are going to send this Facebook request. You want to open your Facebook account, or you are going to send the request, or you are going to type facebook.com in your system. So you are the client. Okay, so this request is sent to the Facebook server, FB server, and in return it is going to see the request, your message or a request, and it is going to send back the response to you. So finally, after sending the response, this facebook.com page is going to be open in your application or in your browser, we can say. Okay, so what are the benefits of client server model? Let us talk two parts of this: benefits and we can say disadvantage. Okay, so the benefit of this is that first benefit is scalable. So client server model is very much scalable. What is scalable? Scalable means that you can add as much as node you can, or as much as clients you can. Okay, second benefit is it has got a centralized management. It means that, as I told you in the last previous page, that in client server model the server is the centralized server, or we can say it is a centralized component. So you have to manage only this centralized component. Okay, next is third benefit is resource sharing. Okay, so server, it is going to share the resources, various resources like database, or we can say various applications among all the clients. Okay, fourth benefit is flexibility. So flexibility means that a number of clients, they are going to connect to the same server. Okay, so the communication protocol is going to be very much easy and very much flexible, we can say. The disadvantage of client server model is single point failure. What is single point failure? Single point failure means that if this server fails, all the system is going to fail. Next is we have got performance issue, because all the load is in the single server. So as I told you, there is this client, so there can be a number of client. So all the load of all the clients is going to be on the single server. So if it is heavily loaded, so it is going to do the performance issue. Next is security concern. Okay, so if this particular server gets breached, all the sensitive data will be lost. Okay, so these are the benefits and disadvantages of client server. And talking about the example in real world, we can say that www, it is the example of a client server model. www. Next is we can say our email system. This is the type of a client server. We can say the banking system, they are also the type of client server. Okay, so let's talk about the next part, that is a peer-to-peer model. Okay, so what happens in a peer-to-peer model is that in contrast to client server model, peer-to-peer model, they are much more democratic. Using this word democratic. What is democratic? Means that in client server model, what was happening, there was a single server and all the clients were dependent on this for any task. Server was the most powerful system, and so this is also called master slave system. Server was the master. But in client to client model, no one is server, no one is client. There is no master, no slave. Every node is equally important. Okay, so all the participants, we can say here, all participants act as both client and server, and all the participants, they are working in sharing the resources, or we can say workload, sharing the workload. So as I told you in previous topic, that the server was solely involved in the workload or any kind of work, but here all the participants, all the nodes are equally sharing the resources, and they're also sharing the workload, so there is no performance issue here. Okay, some of the characteristics of peer-to-peer can be, this is a decentralized system, there is no centralized server. Okay, it is a self-organization. Okay, it means that any member, any nodes can join the group, or they can leave the group. There is no need to take permission from the server. Okay, next characteristics is distributed resources. It means that all the resources are distributed across all the components. So what can be the diagram? This is also connected, this is connected to this, 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 every node is connected to each other. Okay, so you can say what can be the example of this peer-to-peer network. So some of the real world example of peer-to-peer network can be, first one is file sharing network. Okay, file sharing network. Second example can be your blockchain technology. Okay, blockchain technology. Third real world example can be BitTorrent. They all follow the peer-to-peer principle. Okay, so what can be benefit? Let's also talk about the benefit and disadvantage, or we can say advantage and disadvantage. So what are the advantages? The advantage is scalability. Okay, it is very much scalable. Second advantage is fault tolerance. Okay, so what was happening in client server, there was a single point of failure, whereas here if a single node failed, none of other node is going to be affected. This is cost effective because we don't need any powerful system like server, so it is going to be cost effective. Some of the drawbacks can be security. Okay, so of course security concern is in every type of model. Next is complexity, because every node is going to be connected to every other node, so it is going to be a complex system. Okay, next is it is very difficult to manage, because in client server there was only one system which was needed to be managed, but in peer to peer every system is going to be managed. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of peer to peer. So I hope you got what is client server and peer to peer. So in next video I'll be covering some other topic. Till then, stay safe and thank you.